He shuffled forward slowly, his cane clicking against the polished airport tiles, each step measured, each breath heavier than the last. Behind him, the impatient line murmured and shifted. And then someone whispered, just loud enough to be heard. "Move it, Grandpa. Some of us have places to be." The laughter that followed wasn't loud, but it was cruel enough to slice the air. The old man paused. His hand trembled slightly on the worn handle of his cane. He didn't turn around. He didn't defend himself. He simply adjusted the cap on his head, a faded navy blue cap stitched with 4 words in gold, World War II veteran. And still, the gate agent looked past him as if he were invisible, as if this man had not once stared death in the eye to protect strangers who now rolled theirs in annoyance. A boy nearby giggled. Why's he even out alone? Should be in a home or something. That's when the Admiral saw him. Rear Admiral Thomas Gray had just stepped off a connecting flight, coffee in hand, scrolling through his messages. But the cane caught his eye. Not the object, the engraving on its side. An old naval unit code only a few men still alive would recognize. And the moment he did, the Admiral froze. The man before him was not just a veteran. He was something rarer than medals or ribbons. He was living history. A moment later, Gray placed his coffee down on a nearby bench and approached. He didn't walk. He marched, shoulders squared, jaw set, boots echoing off the walls. The line grew quiet. The old man turned. His pale blue eyes locked onto the Admiral's with weary confusion. And then, slowly, Admiral Gray bent down, not just to speak, but to kneel. He placed a hand over his heart. His lips trembled, and in front of dozens of silent passengers, he whispered through tears, "You saved my father's life." There was no applause, only the sound of silence thickening. Passengers who had smirked now stood straighter. Phones were lowered. Shame filled the space where mockery once echoed. The old man's name was Charles Bennett. He had turned 98 2 weeks ago. During the war, he'd crawled through sandstorms in North Africa, pulled 2 wounded medics from a sinking ship under fire, and watched 1,000 friends die nameless deaths so others could live. He'd returned to a world that moved on without him. His wife passed in 92. His only son, a Marine, never made it back from Beirut. He carried more silence than stories, more memories than medals, and now more disrespect than thanks. Until that day, because Admiral Gray didn't stop. With the kneel, he stood beside Charles and addressed the stunned terminal. This man walked so we could run. You rolled your eyes at the cane. I would carry it like a sword if I'd earned it. But I haven't. He did. Someone lowered their head. Another took off his hat. A child whispered to his mother, "Is he a hero?" The mother nodded with tears in her eyes. Yes, the kind that never brags about it. A gate agent stepped forward and apologized, not with words, but by gently offering her arm. Charles refused it with a soft smile. "I'm old, not broken." The airline upgraded him to first class. But what mattered more was the quiet applause that followed his every step. Not the loud kind, the reverent kind. 3 men, strangers, minutes earlier, stood to attention as he passed. By the time he boarded, nearly the whole terminal had risen. Not because of a speech, because of a moment of truth. True strength doesn't need to shout, someone whispered. Some carry scars the world will never see, another said. But Charles heard neither. He just looked ahead, cane in hand, heart steady, and walked. No medals on his chest, but honor followed in silence. If this story moved you, let us know where you're watching from. Share your thoughts, and subscribe to this channel for more stories that honor the silent heroes among us. Because sometimes, the quietest footsteps leave the deepest mark.